Hello and welcome to day 28 of #Popcorn Horror Fest, and on day 28 we are going to be watching 28 Days Later, because I mean apt. So yeah, so it's not a zombie movie, it's about a disease and rage. So don't go saying it's a zombie movie now. I've made some cookies for the occasion. They look amazing. Peanut butter and chocolate. I'm about to put them in the oven. In fact, I'll just do that now. Oh god. And put that on for 15. 5. There we are. Cool. 15 minutes. Lovely, chocolatey, peanutty goodness. Russ, are you excited more about... Hello? Are you excited more about 28 Days Later or about the peanut butter and chocolate cookies?
Peanut butter.
Peanut butter.
Peanut butter.
Okay. Cool. So how do you feel about 28 Days Later? Apprehensive? Looking forward to it?
It's a similar way to how I felt about a lot of your films recently, in that it's a film that I like it. I don't necessarily love it, and I don't really have any desire to revisit it right now. But I'll go for it and see. We've seen it. We saw it a couple of years ago. Last time we did something similar to this. We've seen it a few times before that. So yeah.
Well, I really like it, so I'll enjoy it if nobody else does. See you in a bit. 28 Days Later.
Yeah. What about it?
How did you feel watching it back?
I'm starting to get a bit tired of it now, I think, if I'm honest. I am. It's one of my least favourite Danny Boyle films, I think.
Really?
Yeah, well, I think at the time when it came out, it was doing a lot of interesting things with the cameras it was shooting with and the style it was going for, and also kind of the plot revitalising and re-energising the whole sort of zombie rage kind of thing, and which was all well and good at the time, and I think I enjoyed it at the time, but coming back to it, having been back to it a few years ago and really had enough of it then, and seeing it again this time, aside from a few little set pieces that are quite tense and interesting, I don't find it a fun film to revisit or rewatch, I don't think, anymore.
Oh,
I think the best. I think. And looking back, and I think the best thing for me is probably the soundtrack. Despite everything else it was doing, I still quite enjoy the soundtrack quite a bit. But aside from the soundtrack and a few interspersed bits here and there, I'm not a huge fan of it, if I'm honest.
Oh, that's disappointing. I still really like it. I think it's a really clever film. I really love the idea of their sort of take on the zombie genre, in that actually they're not zombies, it's this medical epidemic of a disease that's spread, which feels apparently I was reading up on it, and it was based on Ebola in many ways, which is topical right now, and it's just, and also the fact that it's a mutation of the Ebola virus apparently that kind of causes you to be very, very aggressive and to be extreme, and actually there are circumstances where we've all got that ability to have rage, like road rage, like queue rage, like public transport rage. Like there's so many times when like people get irrationally angry and it can be scary and things escalate. I mean, obviously not to the extent that they show in this film, but what I love about this film is that it's very, very, it feels very, very real, because it's kind of not that many steps extrapolated to get to where they are from things that actually do happen in the world. So I just think that's clever, and the way that they've shot it and portray, like some of the scenes that they've done also feel very, very real and true to life, mainly because I think they actually were inspired by and based a lot of their scenes and ideas for scenes on things that have happened in the world, like terrible outbreaks of war and famine and you know, riots and things. I know that they thought about how they were going to stage a lot of their shots based on things that have really happened. So it just feels very realistic, and also I guess the way they film it as well adds to that. I mean, it's interesting looking back because it does look like they've shot it on a terrible camera phone, but at the time I understand it was quite pioneering camera work.
Yeah, but also I think the way they went about it was taking lots of the cameras. They weren't, as I say, they weren't top of the line digital cameras even back then, but what they were relatively cheap and allowed them to shoot with lots of cameras very fast, and that's why you get shots and angles of an empty, deserted London, because they were able to just lock it off for
An hour.
for not very long, cover it with lots of cameras, get what they needed to get in and get out again, which is probably the only way you could probably get around with doing that.
It's a really interesting way of filming it, and
Yeah.
I think it adds to the realism too. So I like it. I mean, I feel like I have watched it quite a lot quite recently. So as you say, it was only a couple of years ago when we watched it last, and I probably won't want to watch it again for a while. But I will always love it. I think it's a classic. I really do. I think it redefined a genre and did some really interesting things with it. And it's scary, solid, good story. I'm a fan. Thumbs up. I'm sad that you seem to not
I don't think the story holds up years down the line as much as, I mean,
Are you joking?
interesting way of shooting, interesting concepts. I never really liked the story that much, I'll be honest. It was when it devolves, when they meet the military and it devolves into whatever it becomes. I never really, was never
I
really on
like
board
that
with
because
it.
again, it's like actually the real horror is the humans.
Yeah.
I just think it's all really interesting, really good, and well acted.
I think I'm with it up to the point where we lose Brendan Gleeson and we gain Christopher
That seems
Eccleston.
so sad. I love it.
I think it's mostly the third act I have issues with. But
I found that I don't find it tense anymore because I've seen it so many times, but I found it really tense, and I like the way they play on the fact that you're kind of he's acting to rescue them. He's acting very similarly, and they even do that with the camera work, don't they? They shoot him in the same sort of shaky, frenetic style as they shoot the infected to play on that kind of is he infected, is he not thing. And I thought that was clever at the time. I still think it's clever now, although it doesn't scare me as much because obviously I've seen it so many times. But I like it. I like it, Russ.
I think we've established this, yeah.
So tomorrow, what are we watching?
It's another.
Just drop my bottle of water.
It's another French film. There's quite a few. I've gone for a couple of French films this year called Switchblade Romance or Haute Tension, which
That's a great French accent.
high tension.
French accent.
Well, I wasn't really going for the French accent, but thanks for the criticisms. Well done, you. 10 points.
Bien sûr.
Yeah, I'll say nothing. Not this one. Let's just see what happens.
Do you regret nothing as well?
For the
Should I
time
regret
being,
Riyadh?
we'll see what happens after the film. If I have anything that I might need to regret or not.
Okay, well, also tomorrow will be pumpkin carving, so that's fun. Because it will be 3 more days till Halloween, Halloween, Halloween. 3 more days till Halloween, silver shamrock. Ah, fun. Okay, see you then. Bye!